It is very, very possible to completely change your entire life, to change how you feel, to change what you're doing, to change your situation, your circumstances, etc. But when we get into the art of truly transforming ourselves in our lives, there are a few hang-ups that we need to let go of to pave the way for us to do this in a much easier way. My name is Adam. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be getting into a few of the really big hang-ups that we need to let go of. And then at the end, I'm going to be giving you a little bit of a secret perception that's really important to embody in order to create a quicker and more powerful change in your life. So many people now on this planet are in different stages of wanting to create a better life. We're fortunate enough to live in a time where, all hell's breaking loose, but also where so many more people are coming into the awareness of themselves, who they truly are. The lives they're living aren't what they really wanted. They weren't the lives. They're not really living their lives. I don't know who can relate to this, but so many people were just programmed from birth, through society, through our system, through parents, through ancestors, who all just didn't have the opportunity to work through their own trauma and get to know themselves. They were programmed into these lives that they didn't really choose. We didn't really choose, but now we have that opportunity, but it takes some work. And there's a few things when we get into transformation, spiritual awakening, that we kind of hold on to that really mess us up. So the first thing is, give yourself basically permission to let go of the expectation for everything to happen all at once. This is a very tricky thing that the mind does, because you might be like, well, I know that things come in stages. Yeah, but there are many parts of you deeper down that just kind of want it now. We're all conditioned in the world we live in to want instant gratification and we want this minute. I mean, every time you're scrolling through social media, there's some part of your brain that wants something right now. It wants a hit of something right now. That your whole nervous system is wired to kind of seek reality in this way. We all are. And it's important to know that things happen in a step-by-step fashion. Things happen in stages. It's okay to let them take time. So much of the pain that we have comes from the pressure that we put on ourselves to be at a certain place or a certain point at a certain time. When we back off and we surrender to what is, it gives us much more peace. There's no end game. There's no finish line. We think that there is, partially because of the belief in death. So we feel like we have to get all this stuff done by the time we die, because that's all that exists. And then we want to leave behind some legacy or something so that people remember us later when we're not even going to be around to know that. It's sort of a trap. One of the biggest things that problems I've had is time frame. I've just always had this pressure to want to get to a certain point within a certain time frame. Now, not only has this caused me a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, and a lot of internal anger, anguish, and punishment when things wouldn't go the way I wanted them to go. One of the things that this does energetically is it takes us out of the moment, because it puts us into either the future or the past. And this is what I just noticed recently about myself. I'm always either in this future that I want to create, and it's good to have a vision for the future, but too much in the future, racing toward the future, pushing myself toward the future, or that kind of slingshots me back into my past, because if I'm like, well, why isn't this future coming? Then it's like, oh, well, what happened in the past that's preventing it from happening? And they tie together. Either one is an attachment to not being in the moment. That's the biggest thing that time frame does. And when you're not in the moment, you can't actually align or synchronize with divine timing and what's best for you, and you won't really be able to call things in. You'll keep hitting these obstacles, snags, snares, like blockages in the reality because you're not basically allowing things to settle. So that's the first thing. The second hang up that we have is believing that wherever we're going to get to is going to be perfect. This is very common when you're on a spiritual awakening journey and you kind of understand or are researching 5D consciousness and the new earth. We tend to kind of fairy tale these things a bit. And what it does is it causes us to hold this very idealistic, non-realistic vision of something that's very abstract that we can't even conceive of. And it gives us this fairy tale perception of how things should be, which makes us look at what we have and kind of hate it. We have these feelings of disgust in regards to our situations because we're idealizing reality. It prevents us from accepting the process. It prevents us from accepting that things, like I said in the first one, go in stages, step by step, but it prevents us from the thing that heals us more than anything, which is dealing with reality as it is the best that we can. Because no matter where we get to, we're always going to be faced with the choice of, do I focus on what I have or do I focus on what I don't have? And I know things can be really awful for a while and you don't have much. I get it and it sucks, but you still want to focus on building that muscle of what is it right now that I can like somewhat and how can I improve my situation a little bit? Because when we have these fairy tale perceptions, we go into this all or nothing state. And that leads me to number 3. It's this either or, all or nothing framework that we perceive everything through. When we're very all or nothing, either or, then what happens is when we want to make a change, we have a vision, we have an idea of where we want to go, which is important. But we tend to then take everything that we have now and write it all off and throw it away. And we see it almost as a hindrance to getting to that future. It's either that future or nothing. But there's never going to be a time or a space where everything is always perfect. There's always going to be challenges. There's different kinds of challenges. A lot of us have dealt with extreme scarcity, deep pain, trauma, matrix slavery, that's awfulness. You can get out of that, but you're still going to have challenges. You're still going to have things to learn, and you're still always only going to be faced with your perception of the moment. We want to be very careful with the either or, black, white, right, wrong perception. It causes so many problems, and it's not true. It's not how anything works. So if you're looking to make very big shifts in your life, be patient. Be as present as you can. I know with trauma, it's hard to be present in these avatars where the human mind is basically dissociating every second that it thinks or feels, and we all have that problem. It's hard to be present, but as you start to unravel some of your belief systems, it does get easier. And it doesn't have to be one or the other. It doesn't have to be so black or white, all or nothing, either or. It's an endless journey. And one of the secrets to changing your life, to drastically shifting the course of your life, is knowing not only that it's possible, but it's what you're supposed to do. You're meant to do it. This is really important because a lot of us presume subconsciously that if we're born into trauma, if we're born into scarcity, if we're born into all these really painful issues, it must be because we deserve that and only that, that's where we belong. Is it okay for us to shift? Is it okay for us to have the lives that we want? We were asking for permission from our parents, we were asking for permission from society, and a lot of us, without even knowing it, are asking for permission from God or whatever we believe a higher power is. You don't need God's permission. You already have it. You need your own permission. And it helps to know that, so many of us in these transformational sort of lives went into the darkness first. It was part of the process. It was part of the journey, so that we could sort of bring up the trauma. We could bring up the past life difficulties, struggles, belief systems, and then harmonize it, release it, and transform. So however bad it's gotten, it was supposed to be like that. It was meant to be like that. And you're meant to come out the other side. No permission except your own is needed. And it's hard because we always kind of want to be told we're getting it right or we're doing the right thing. So we're like, is it right for me to change my life? Yes, you're doing the right thing. You're meant to do it. Consider it your job. Let me know how this goes. I'm really excited. I have an ebook coming out in the next few weeks, How to Drastically Change the Course of Your Life from Darkness to Light. I will be, letting you know more about that. Please leave a comment if something resonates. I always very much appreciate everybody who watches my videos. Other than that, thank you very much, and I will see you next time.